Hey toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my figure review series here on my YouTube channel. And today we are taking a look at a popular character after this summer's Captain America the Winter Soldier and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you're watching. This is the Hydra Soldier. Hydra was part of the Marvel Legends Brood series in 2007, and it was great that we got these when we did because this was Hasbro really kind of giving us army builders for the first time. Absolutely fun figure to collect back in the day. Now if you're not familiar with Hydra, Hydra is sort of a terrorist organization in the Marvel Universe that's out to basically countermine everything that S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing. And Hydra is typically led by such characters as the Red Skull or Madame Hydra. There's even some involvement with Baron von Strucker or Arnim Zola. A lot of those names you may recognize from the Marvel movies going on right now. And I figured with everything going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on television, it'd be a great time to go ahead and review these toys. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the detail on these Hydra soldiers. Taking a look at the sculpting on these Hydra figures, you're going to notice one immediately obvious difference. I have one Hydra soldier here that has a closed mouth and one Hydra soldier here that has an open mouth. Also, if we look at the top of the heads here, the open mouth Hydra has 3 lines sculpted on the top of his head, while the closed mouth Hydra has 5 lines sculpted on the top of his head. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but basically that's the only difference between these two figures. And when these Hydra soldiers were released back in 2007, they were seemingly randomly packed. Either you'd find open mouth soldiers or closed mouth soldiers. I think they just did that to give the army building wave here just a little bit of variety, so you weren't always getting the exact same soldier, or if you got 30 of these things, they weren't all closed mouth identical looking soldiers. So I do appreciate that touch. But let's go ahead and focus on the closed mouth soldier for the rest of this review. Looking at the closed mouth soldier here, you're going to notice that he's got sort of military fatigues here. Kind of a flak jacket that's got the Hydra H logo here. And then it has a belt that matches with some ammunition strapped to it, and a gun pouch here that doesn't actually function, it's just kind of there for looks. He does have some metal work on his gloves that's been painted silver. And as we go down here, he's got some boots there that definitely look World War I, World War II era, with some buckles on them and some straps that are also painted silver. Now back here in 2007, Hasbro was just getting started with the Marvel Legends line, and this really was kind of a dark ages for the Marvel Legends line at this time. Hasbro was still kind of figuring out what they were going to do with the figures and how to make them work best to their advantage, and we did end up getting a lot of lackluster Legends from that time period, unfortunately. Now the Hydra Soldier, I personally stand by, I say it's great, but one of the sort of remnants of that era is that there's really not a lot in the way of paint detailing on these Hydra figures. I mean, as you look at it here, that's a flat yellow on the eyes, a flat skin tone, a flat yellow on the H, and all the work here. There's no sort of airbrushing or shading or anything like that. I mean, they just kind of painted what they had to and just moved on. So for these particular figures, since they're army builders and they're kind of wearing boring military fatigue-like outfits anyway, I don't know that it's a huge issue. Sure, shading would have been nice, but I feel like we got a lot worse during this time period, and I'm happy more or less with how the Hydra Soldier turned out. Moving on to the accessories now for this Hydra Soldier, you'll see that it does come with a pair of guns here. The first one he has here is sort of a sidearm that's just molded in a gunmetal plastic. And if you look at the hand grip on that pistol there, you'll see that that is a very tiny Hydra logo sculpted right into the grip there, which is a nice touch. And that grip is painted black. And it's the same sort of sculpting and painting on the other side here. The other item the Hydra Soldier comes with is this assault rifle here. And you can see that it plainly has a Hydra logo on the stock there, but it also has the logo sculpted into the grip of this gun as well. And it's painted black there and gold on the Hydra emblem on the stock. And you get the same sort of work on the other side of this assault rifle. So nice sort of little accessory there for the Hydra Soldier as well. Now it's also worth noting that this Hydra Soldier originally came with the front left leg of the Brood Build-A-Figure. I don't have one readily available for this review, but if you look at the picture here, you'll kind of see what the Brood was all about, and the front leg on the left side there is, well, what he came with. Alright, let's move on to the articulation of this Hydra Soldier. And remember, even though we're looking at the closed mouth soldier, the open mouth soldier has the exact same articulation. To start with here, his head does bend down that far, it does bend up that far, it does rotate 360 degrees, and he has a rotation at the shoulder here that does have a ratchet in it that turns 360 degrees. His arm can bend out from the body and up that far, so that's great. He's got a single jointed elbow here that moves forward that far, moves back that far. It also rotates at the elbow. And he's got a rotation here, sort of at the wrist, a little higher than the wrist, that turns 360 degrees. He does have an ab crunch here that moves down that far and moves back only about that far. There's a waist rotation here, and he does have a ball jointed hip here, so his leg can move forward that far. It's a little bit hindered from that skirt piece, but it is a nice soft plastic, so you do get a little bit of motion out of there. His leg will go forward that far, and it goes back about that far. He does have a single jointed knee here that bends back that far, and he does rotate 360 degrees at the knee. And then he does have an ankle joint here that bends forward that far, very far, and bend back that far, and there is no ankle pivot on that ankle. Taking a look at the height now, you can see that this Hydra Soldier does stand at just about 6.5 inches tall. And here's the Hydra Soldier standing next to the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine figure. And here's the Hydra Soldier standing next to the Madam Hydra figure released by Hasbro in 2012. Something I want to touch on before we get to the closer is how great it is to have an army building figure just like these Hydra Soldiers. You can put these guys in virtually any position, you can line them up with any character, you can make them even fight anybody you want them to, and it really looks great because you have a fleet of uniformed characters that belong together and complete a scene. These Hydra Soldiers are absolutely great for articulated comic art or just posing on your shelf casually. There's just so many things you can do with these figures. And I'm glad that Hasbro brought these out back in 2007, and I'm really glad that this year they brought us an AIM Soldier and a revamped version of the Hydra Soldier, so you can keep doing these sort of classic battle scenes or these sort of dynamic poses as a group of soldiers or a group of people or heroes versus villains or whatever you want to do with them. These figures are just absolutely fantastic for that purpose. I wish we got more of these than we currently do, but I'm glad to see that we're finally getting some again this year after a long break of having really no army builders for quite a while. So that's definitely something you want to think about as you're deciding whether you want to get one of these figures. Okay, toy fans, that's my review of the Marvel Legends Brood Series Hydra Soldier from 2007. These figures are a lot of fun despite their shortcomings. Yeah, the paint's a little light and they are a little cheaper than you're used to seeing with a Marvel Legends toy these days, but these figures are absolutely great for army building. There's so many things you can do with them when you have a lot of them. Now, back in the day, these figures were really hard to come by. I myself was checking probably 4 or 5 different retailers, and I could only come up with 3 after about a year of these things being on the market. These things were being picked up fast, and they were going for quite a bit on the secondary market back in the day. Now, those prices may have come down since Hasbro released the new Hydra Soldier with Captain America the Winter Soldier earlier this year, but these are still a great one to have. I mean, it's the throwback outfits, and if you get enough of them, it doesn't matter what costume they're wearing, as long as you have one great Hydra army, right? Well, that's my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to rate, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure to hit me up on Twitter at D21Beasts. I'd love to talk to you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.